Welcome to the Back in Time podcast with Kyle and JD, where every week we jump into our DeLorean, cruise to 88 miles per hour, and travel back in time to review our favorite films. Every week we talk about current cinema, the latest trailers, and we pick a new favorite film every single episode.
But I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity. 21 gigawatts!
Don't say that! Never say that! Goonies never say die!
You're the best, we're the beautiful, we're the only Ghostbusters.
Now, here's your host, Kyle Autry, and his co-host, JD.
Welcome back to the Back in Time podcast. I am your host, Kyle Autry, and joined today by a special guest. First time on the podcast, my wife, Taylor. Taylor, say hello.
Hi, guys.
Awesome. So we are doing a special episode today. We're doing a special episode today to review Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We've just left the movie theater, and it's fresh on our mind, but before we jump into the podcast, I want to remind you guys, we have a new teaser trailer up on Monday, Suburban Commando. The full episode will be up on Wednesday. And of course, you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcast, iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Of course, we'll be on social media at Back in Time Pod, up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And give us a follow there. Shoot us some feedback on what you like about the show, and we'll be sure to bring you more episodes. So before we jump into the review here for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, let's talk about the predecessor, Jurassic World. It came out in 2015. I remember we saw that movie at the theater. What'd you think of Jurassic World?
I like the one that came out in 2015. It was kind of a similar storyline to the first one, but when they added Chris Pratt, it was the wow factor.
Okay. This hurts a little bit, people. So why is Chris Pratt the wow factor for you, Taylor?
I just think he's a really great actor.
Okay. She has a very big grin on her face. I don't think that's what she likes about Chris Pratt, but that'll be for another episode. Let's, I'll give you my feedback real quick. I really liked Jurassic World. It was a big step up from Jurassic Park 3, which was a big letdown. Last week we talked about The Lost World. I was a fan of that growing up. JD was not a fan at all, so we kind of clashed. That episode's in our archives. But I thought Jurassic World kind of put a fresh coat of paint on the franchise and brought it back and put it back to where it belongs, being a billion-dollar franchise. So I was excited about Fallen Kingdom. If you have not seen the movie yet, you may want to hit pause right now, because this is going to be a spoiler alert for you guys. So 3, 2, 1, everybody dies. No, that's not really what happens. Let's talk about Fallen Kingdom a little bit, Taylor. So we've got some new characters in Fallen Kingdom. We've got Owen Grady back, Chris Pratt, we've got Claire, but we've got a couple new characters. We have Franklin, who's kind of like the techie nerd guy. What'd you think about Franklin, Taylor?
I'm not really sure if he was a necessary character. I think he might have just been kind of a fluff character. He had a couple one-liners, but he didn't really make or break the movie.
So you did not like Franklin?
He was the tech guy, right?
Yeah. I thought he was funny.
He was okay.
Like when he screamed really loud, that was hilarious. He thought all the dinosaurs were going to eat him. He was
I did like when he thought he was out of the range of the dinosaur, and then the ladder shot back down.
He's like, we made it! And it just goes back down.
That was the one redeeming quality.
Okay. And then we have Zia Rodriguez, who is a dinosaur vet, doctor of sorts, played by Daniela Pineda. What did you think of Zia?
I think it was kind of weird that she was a dinosaur vet but had never seen a dinosaur in real life. So I'm not sure how you get a whole bunch of experience when you've never worked on an animal before. That's like being a dog vet but never touching a dog in your life.
That's true, but you have to remember all the paleontologists in Jurassic Park have never actually seen dinosaurs, but then they go uncover bones and they're experts.
But she was a vet, so she was like a surgeon.
That makes sense.
So it didn't make sense in the movie, I guess.
Okay. So you weren't a big fan of her. And then the last bit of casting I'll add in here is we have actually two. So we've got Benjamin Lockwood, played by James Cromwell. He's the older guy, partner of John Hammond from the very beginning. This is kind of like the backstory to the film. Did you like his character?
Yeah, they didn't dive in too deep and give a whole lot of backstory with him. But I think they based kind of the whole storyline off of his character.
That's a great point. Yeah, everything that this movie revolves around is back to him and John Hammond and how they started and where they want to take this, which he has a vision for it, but his associate does not have that, which is Ken Wheatley, played by Ted Levine. So Ken is basically a lot like Ludlow in The Lost World, who is John Hammond's right-hand man, who also kind of had like evil intentions but had all this money behind him. Did you like this guy? Was he a good mix with this movie as like the bad guy?
The thing about his character, he was very predictable, and then midway through the movie I knew he was going to be eaten by a T-Rex. So that was kind of foreshadowing, and it wasn't a shock. So it's kind of the same old trick, I guess.
Yeah. So one thing we can say about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, they're not trying a lot of new stuff. It's kind of recycling what's worked in the past, which is fine. Because if you're a fan of Rocky, they did that for 7 movies and just kind of repeated, and he would win, he would lose. So just like the original Jurassic Park that was in the park, Lost World was outside of the park and trying to get them to a safe place, and then somebody was evil trying to bring them to San Diego. So this is pretty similar to this, except they're not trying to bring them to a new park in San Diego. They're trying to auction them off for millions of dollars to guys all over the world, hunters or whatever their background was.
So I don't know if you can compare Jurassic Park to Rocky, because Rocky has that heart piece where you want him to win, but there's always that thought in the back of your mind if he's going to win or not. In Jurassic World, you're just like, oh, is this guy going to get eaten or is he not going to get eaten? So I think Rocky has a little bit more entice to it for viewers than Jurassic Park.
Okay. We'll save our Rocky talk for another episode. We'll get into a little bit of the breakdown of the movie. I'm not going to go scene by scene. This will be more like beginning, middle, end. So I really like the beginning part. It started underwater, and they're kind of looking for the Indominus Rex, who's just a skeleton at the bottom of the sea, ocean, whatever they're in. And they do come across it, but there's that giant, like, whale dinosaur that's lurking beneath. It's like a megalodon, just like the movie trailer we saw. Of course, these guys, they get the bone, but they do not make it out of the water alive. What'd you think of the first scene? I thought it's kind of set the tone. I was excited after that.
Yeah, but isn't that happen in every single Jurassic Park? Within the first 5 minutes, someone always dies.
It's classic Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Yeah. They don't,
same old moves.
They don't steer away from what works.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you go to a roller coaster, or you go to an amusement park to get the scares or to get the thrills. They do the same thing in Jurassic Park. So after that, we meet Ken Wheatley, we meet Lockwood, we meet some new characters. We find out what Claire's been up to. She's now on a mission to save the dinosaurs, and her funding gets turned down, and then the government does not pass the law to protect these extinct animals, and they basically say they're on their own. And then, they bring the team together, and Owen, who is in Alaska, which I found funny because we just got back from Alaska a month ago. Mm-hmm. Those mountains look very familiar, did they not?
Yeah, I love them. I loved Alaska.
Yeah, so I thought that was a cool part of the scene where Owen's just building a house now or out of a cabin.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's very Chris Pratt-esque. It fits his character well. Middle of the movie, I thought kind of slowed down a little bit. Taylor, what would you think of the middle part?
Yeah, after we caught the glimpse of the first 5 minutes where the people get eaten in that little bubble thing.
Yeah.
It's almost an hour into the movie before we see our next death from a dinosaur. So I kind of think it slowed down a little bit in the middle. And there wasn't the typical Jurassic Park chasing scenes. So I think they could have added a little bit more to their storyline in the middle part of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they were trying to set up, if they were trying to do character development. But yeah, essentially they all get brought to the island to save the dinosaurs, and then they're double crossed by these guys that they thought were there to save the animals. They're actually not. And then they kind of barely make it off the island before they get destroyed by lava. Except for that one dinosaur. I felt kind of bad. I forget the name of those. Bronchiosaurus, the ones that are really tall.
They're like as tall as skyscrapers.
Yeah, like the giraffe dinosaur. The one got left on the island. That was pretty sad.
I really liked how they set that scene up where the lava and the smoke, and you just kind of see the outline. It really tugged at your heart and you hear the dinosaur screaming and crying for help, and they just didn't have the time or the space to save all the dinosaurs. So that kind of tugged at my heart at that scene.
Yeah, and Claire and Owen do a good job of selling it. She's got tears coming down, and they realize that there's going to be some that they just couldn't get. But they did get 11 different species of dinosaurs off the island, and that's kind of the whole middle of the movie is going from that island back to the United States to Lockwood's house, where he's got this giant fortress underneath. I guess if you have a billion,
he didn't even know about, which was kind of strange plot hole there.
Yeah, there's a plot hole that he doesn't realize he has a giant chamber of dinosaurs living underneath his mansion. Let's kind of get to the ending and wrap it up a little bit. What do you think of the ending of the movie?
I kind of loved it and hated it. It was
so
classic Jurassic Park.
Break it up a little bit. What did you hate about it?
I guess they kind of left us a cliffhanger. So we don't really know what happens with the dinosaurs. We just kind of have them out all roaming, and you don't really know. I just feel like if it happened in real life, the army would come out and just shoot them all down. So it didn't really make sense that they just kind of let them all roam around for the safety of people. I don't know.
Okay. And what did you love about it?
I love that Blue was able to make it. I really like Blue the dinosaur.
Blue kind of saves the day.
Yeah, she does.
Kind of like the new T-Rex. So like in the Lost World and Jurassic Park, the T-Rex kind of saves the day. So kind of same thing with this one. But,
and then we didn't really know if she was going to make it. And then all of a sudden she has a drastic recovery and she comes out fighting.
So to put some context to it, the Velociraptor is shot by one of the guys that was...
They're trying to capture her.
Yeah, they're trying to capture her, and Owen kind of had it under control. And then the team moved in and shot her with darts, and then she jumped on top of one of the guys, and they're all like, don't shoot, and he shoots anyway. So Zia has to keep this dinosaur alive. They have to get blood from the T-Rex, which was a really cool scene, I thought.
Yeah, that was interesting. They had to get blood from a carnivore. I guess the different type of blood types is the way they kind of explained it. Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas's character have to go into a container that has the T-Rex to try and the dinosaurs are all tranquilized.
Yeah, tranquilized.
They're
night-night.
So they're sleeping and they crawl into this container and Chris Pratt taps it on the nose to make sure that she's still sleeping, and she's still sleeping. And then we get this cool part where he gets like slapped against the side and he can't move. Yeah. And then she's like, "Are you okay?" And he gives a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I can't reach. You're going to have to give," because they're trying to get blood to save Blue. And then Bryce Dallas's character jumps up on her like she's riding a bull, which I thought was kind of an interesting scene too. What did you think, Kyle?
I thought it was really funny when she jumped on top and he's like, "Nice." And then she has to jab the IV into the, I don't know if it's a female or male T-Rex. I think everything's a female. I think that's how they engineer them. But anyway, they get the blood. Somehow the T-Rex gets woken up, so they kind of have to escape. It's a cool scene. The ending is they have all these investors show up to the house after Lockwood's killed by his, I don't know what you would call him.
Proxy.
Yeah, it's a proxy, his right-hand man. Yeah. So he puts a pillow over his head, kills him in his sleep, and... we
didn't talk about his cane, too.
Oh, yeah, he's got the cane with the mosquito, just like John Hammond.
And the amber, yep.
Yep.
locked in the amber. It's like a little globe. And then we see that kind of crash and shatter when he gets suffocated on the bed.
So they have this auction, and Toby Jones is the guy doing the auction. I love Toby Jones. He's always good and stuff. But anyway, they start auctioning off, and then Owen and Claire start kind of making their way down. They have to kill this new Damas Raptor. I forget the name of the thing. Damaraptor? I think it's right. So it's a mix between a T-Rex, a Velociraptor with all the genes and the smarts that Blue has. So, and
but
that's
the size of almost the T-Rex.
Yeah, that's been engineered by Dr. Wu, who's making his third appearance in Jurassic Park films. He's kind of a staple, BD Wong. So it's cool to see him in this as well. They finally have this auction. They bring out the Indoraptor. That's the name of this new, not the Adama-Raptor, but the Indoraptor. This thing is crazy looking. It's super scary. It looks every bit like a smaller T-Rex, but it's real smart like a raptor, and it's trained already. They weren't going to sell that one, but it ends up selling for like $25 million, and they're just like, well, we got to do it. So Wu is not happy at all. He kind of storms off. He goes back to the lab. He gets all his samples, which is important, because if there is another one, Dr. Wu has everything to engineer more dinosaurs. He saved everything in the lab. Before the Indoraptor can kill off all of our main characters, they're able to kind of outsmart him. They get to the top of the house, and that's when Blue comes in to save the day and knock this Indoraptor through a glassed roof, because of course they have a glass roof just laying around conveniently, and it falls to its death, getting pierced by a fossil on their main floor. And then the ending of the movie is our young character, Maisie. She's actually been cloned. So she was Dr. Lockwood's daughter originally, and she died. Him and Hammond engineered another daughter, which is kind of crazy.
It wasn't Hammond. That's what they didn't agree on.
Oh, that's what they didn't agree on. Okay, that's a good catch. So, yeah, so Lockwood's kind of done this on his own. This little girl has no idea that she's a clone. So that's kind of weird. I don't know what to make of that writing. Maybe that's part of the third and the finale here, if they're going to do a trilogy, which I assume they will. So anyway, all the dinosaurs are going to suffocate. There's, what was that stuff that was leaking out?
It was like hydrogen, like when the Indoraptor like broke out.
Yeah.
Was that what happened when it broke out?
Yeah, it messed up the filtration system, and there's like...
And so they're basically going to suffocate all the dinosaurs.
Right.
We're down in the basement.
Claire's going to push the button to free him, and Owen talks her out of it. And it's like, do we really want this? We need to think about it. And she decides not to do it. You can't
go back if she pushes the buttons.
Right. So
you can't let them out of the box, is basically what I'm saying.
So she is, and Owen as well, are kind of watching these dinosaurs about to take their last breath, when all of a sudden Maisie hits the button and is like, they're just like me. Yeah. I have to do it. I have to free them. And they get free, they go out, of course.
She basically said, they're the reason I'm alive.
Yeah.
So that was the cool writing piece they put in.
Yeah. Wheatley's going to get killed. He barely gets missed by all these dinosaurs that come roaring out.
So it's classic Jurassic Park, where Wheatley comes and he hides underneath the van, and he has the Dominus Rex fossil with him, because they still want to mutate him. That's the key for all the money that they're going to have. So he gets under the van. Yep. He gets under the van, and then classic Jurassic Park, the T-Rex comes out and flips the van, and he just doesn't make it.
Right, yeah. He makes it out. He thinks he's going to be okay, and then the T-Rex comes out and is like, "Roo!" and just chews him up. And then the last shot is, well, it's not the last shot, but one of the last shots with all the dinosaurs is Blue and Owen's kind of trying to get him to obey and get him to go into the cage so he can go with him. Good point. Blue does not do that. She doesn't
want to be caged. She wants to be free.
Yep, she runs into the forest, and the next shot is all these trucks with Dr. Wu and all whatever's left from the lab, and they appear to be heading toward the desert. So I don't know where they're going. There's a lot of desert. Owen, Claire, Zia, Franklin, and Maisie, I assume, are all... It looks like they're doing the same thing, kind of following them. So I don't know if that's going to be part of the sequel, but that's pretty much how the movie ends, is Blue kind of standing over, I think, California, kind of looking over the edge and doing her call. And that's it.
It almost looks like she's looking over the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
So I think they even...
But there are houses down there. So I don't know if it's the Grand Canyon, but yeah, we don't know where they're going. That could be part of the trilogy here. I don't know what's going to happen. One thing that was a little disappointing, I know we were really excited on the podcast about Dr. Ian Malcolm making his return to the franchise. Jeff Goldblum, he only is in the movie maybe 2 minutes.
2 minutes at the beginning and then 2 minutes at the ending. Kind of just warning humanity. This is what we did. We opened up Pandora's box, and what are we going to do about it now? This is what we have to live with.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to see more of him, but he's only has basically one scene, but they cut it into 2 parts. So if you're going and excited to see Malcolm again, probably move that down your bucket list a little bit. If you had to give it a grade, Taylor, how would you rate this one? Because right now it's 50% on Rotten Tomato and 62% from the audience. How would you rate it?
I would probably give it like a 75. I like the first one better, the first reboot better. I just think they didn't come up with a whole lot of new storylines or develop the characters a whole lot. So that's why my rating scale is a little bit lower, but I still think it's a good Friday night date movie to go see.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a solid 70, 75, somewhere in that range. I don't think it's much lower than Jurassic World, which was about 70 on Rotten Tomatoes when on the critic side. So if you're getting scared away at all by the tomato meter, I would say don't listen to it. I think haters are going to hate, and some of the critics are just, I don't know what they expected. It's a fun movie. It's a good date night movie, or if you got a teenage son that likes Jurassic Park and the franchise, they'll love this one as well.
It's not a kid movie. Don't take your kiddos.
Yeah, don't take a tiny toddler to this movie because it's a little too scary for them.
Yeah, I jumped a couple times.
Yeah, there's some jumping scenes in there. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for joining us. Taylor, thank you for coming on the podcast.
No problem.
You're our first female voice.
Woo! Way to represent.
So we will be back again on Monday with Suburban Commando. I'll have JD back, and we'll be talking some Hulk Hogan, brother. Taylor hates wrestling too, so she will not be watching Suburban Commando. As always, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is at Back in Time Pod. You can subscribe for free. Don't ever miss an episode. But that's it. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you on Monday.
Bye, guys.